Breaking news alert. A travel alert is now in effect for counties up and down the Red River Valley. The North Dakota Department of Transportation map shows counties like Cass, Grand Forks, and Stutsman, just to name a few, are included in that alert. Taking a live look at that DOT map right now, that is the purple, light purple covered areas on that map. It also shows that snow and ice-covered roads are in much of that area. Now, a travel alert means that you legally can still travel, but you will likely encounter areas of challenging winter weather driving conditions. You should give yourself extra time to reach your destination if you have to travel. Make sure you also have a mask and an emergency kit handy for if you get stranded and need to be rescued. And so we want to get a check of that forecast for what's happening right now with First Alert meteorologist Lisa Green on this First Alert weather day. Good morning, Lisa.
Good morning. Yeah, certainly not nice out on those roads here this morning, especially in those areas where snow is falling. But even in those places where the snow isn't falling, we've got blowing and drifting snow happening here as well, even a ground blizzard happening in some spots. So this is not great for anybody here to start off the day today. So we want you to use caution or just avoid traveling at all if you can. And here is our view. This is in town. We continue to monitor the Luther Family Ford Skycam on the south end of town. This is along 32nd Avenue South in Fargo. And it really tells the story of what we're dealing with, because you could see the camera shaking with the wind. At times visibility really drops with some of these stronger wind gusts. You can see the snow drifting across the parking lot too. So this is what you're going to encounter in town, but out of town on that open road, it's going to be much, much worse. So this is something to keep in mind if you were thinking about hitting the roads here this morning. Might want to rethink that here to start the day today. And in fact, checking in on one of our DOT cams, this is the view in Thief River Falls. You can see the snowflakes flying at the camera with that wind blowing them around here. And this is the picture across many of the DOT cams, both in North Dakota and into Minnesota this morning. So a really tough start, especially because, with the sun not up yet, that creates an extra layer of issues with the dark conditions and the low visibility reports. So here's a look at the latest radar. We continue to monitor this line. It's been stretching across Lake of the Woods through northwest Minnesota, Fargo right in the middle of it right now, and then down into eastern South Dakota. And it hasn't advanced eastward much. So this is taking its time moving its way through, and that means it's sticking with us for a while here as we continue through the morning hours. Grand Forks, for the last couple of hours now, has been right on the edge of it, especially in the south and eastern end of town. You're seeing more of that snow into East Grand Forks, but you're still getting the blowing and drifting snow and lower visibility. Fargo, same thing. We've been talking about that streak of darker blue, a couple of them showing up on the map where some of the heavier snowfall rates are. One just south and east of Fargo, and that stretches down into northern Richland and into Sargent counties here this morning, and further into South Dakota. And it's right on the edge of Fergus Falls, moving into parts of Lakes Country. Detroit Lakes has been seeing that snow picking up too. So wind speeds, again, this has been something we've been warning you about. The wind has gusted above 60 miles per hour in a couple of spots. We're currently gusting to 61 in Sisseton. Fargo's at 55. It's 52 in Grand Forks. Visibility, again, in blizzard conditions in Oaks and in Gwinner, where we're at 0. We're at a quarter mile at the airport in Fargo. Again, keep in mind, these are at the airports near town. More into those open areas, it may even be worse. And here are those temperatures. Tough out there. It's now down to 0 in Langdon. We're about to drop below 0 there. And wind chills are getting close to 30 below there too. And this is something that's going to advance through the valley. So we'll see more and more of these numbers as this system continues to roll through. So you want to be prepared for that here today if you're leaving the house. Here's a look at our forecast wind gusts, because this is the thing that's really making it worse for us with the snow and the colder air moving in. Those winds will continue to be strong. We're talking gusts into the 40s and 50s and even some 60s through the morning. As we head into the afternoon, this is 3 o'clock this afternoon, that core of strongest wind starts to shift to the east, but that doesn't mean it's not windy anymore. 7 o'clock, we're still looking at gusts in the 30s and 40s in the valley, but it will start to show signs of easing up heading into tonight. Just keep in mind, we're talking about much colder temperatures tonight, double digits below 0, wind chills to 40 below. So just brutal over the next 24 hours here. You want to make sure you're staying safe and staying warm here.
All right, some good advice, Lisa. And breaking news that just came into our newsroom. A no travel advisory has now been issued for parts of northwestern Minnesota. The Minnesota DOT says that impacts Highway 2 going from Crookston to East Grand Forks and Highway 200 from Ada to the North Dakota border. Now, this is a live look at that DOT map in Minnesota. Again, no travel advised in northwest Minnesota. This was just issued seconds ago by the Minnesota Department of Transportation, so be careful if you are traveling out there. We'll have more on this throughout the morning. And we have been warning you about this storm for days now. It's here. High winds, snow, dangerous conditions in our area. The Valley Today's Brian Sherrod. He has been covering road conditions all morning, and he joins us live right now with what it's like. Brian, where are you and what's it like out there?
Well, good morning, Jordan. 19th Avenue North is where I am, so pretty much by the Hector International Airport and the Fargo Dome. And look at these temperatures, or look at this weather, I should definitely say. I mean, the wind is blowing pretty hard. You can definitely hear it. You can definitely also see it as well. Looking across the roadways, just seeing it just going quickly. We are seeing a lot more cars than normal. That actually did surprise me, since I know we were saying to not travel unless you need to. So hopefully these cars are either going to work or going to a destination that they need to this morning. But what I do want to show you is across the street, you can see this tractor just shoveling up all of this snow that's already piled up, so that way you're able to safely travel, at least in that part of the area. He's been out there for about 10 minutes now, clearing the parking lots of the McDonald's and the Chipotle across the street. You know, again, when you're looking in front of you, you really cannot see that far ahead. So cars that are traveling can't really see that much in front of them, because I know even looking ahead myself, you can't see that much. But what I want to also tell you, the Hector International Airport, if you do plan on flying out of there, there's a lot more cancellations that came across in the last 10 minutes, and they are as follows. So make sure you're paying close attention. Now, Minneapolis, that was a 6 a.m. flight that is canceled, so they're not doing that flight right now. 7:30 to Chicago, 9 this morning to Denver, 10:34 to Chicago, and also 11:56 to Denver as well. They are all canceled. Now, there are a few that are delayed, and there are some that are still saying they're going to be flying on time. We'll keep you updated with those as it comes in. But again, don't travel unless you absolutely need to. You know, it is pretty cold out here, which you can definitely tell, but these winds are very, very strong. So again, if you do have to travel, be extra cautious.
Some good advice out there. Brian Sherrod, stay safe on this Wednesday morning. People living in a western Minnesota town say they're concerned about a group of white supremacists that are moving to their city. Murdock, Minnesota is about 2.5 hours south of Moorhead. Earlier this year, Asatru Folk Assembly bought a vacant Lutheran church in that town. AFA, as the group is often referred to, is headquartered in California and practices a pre-Christian religion. Last night, the city council voted to allow them to use the church to practice their beliefs. But unlike other Asatru organizations, their statement of ethics says that we in Astru support strong, healthy, white family relationships. We want our children to grow up to be mothers and fathers of white children of their own. Murdock's mayor, Craig Kavanaugh, released a statement saying that the city of Murdock condemns racism in all of its forms, and the city is committed to building a community that promotes equal justice and opportunity to everyone and every single person, regardless of their race. Some religious scholars have referred to the AFA as a racist fringe group with white supremacist beliefs. An attorney for the group says they are a Northern European religion, and that's it. The fight continues between the state and some restaurant owners. In a press release, Minnesota Attorney General Keith Ellison announced that his office has filed motions for temporary restraining order against 3 bars. Those 3 are St. Patrick's in New Prague, Poorhouse in Clarks Grove, and the Interchange in Albert Lea. On Monday, Attorney General Ellison's office sued these 3 bars for openly violating the ban on indoor dining in Governor Tim Walz's executive order to slow the spread of COVID-19. Bars and restaurants must close for indoor dining until Sunday, January 10th, 2021. Meanwhile, the Boardwalk Bar and Grill in East Grand Forks is currently facing a lawsuit from the Attorney General's office as well. The Attorney General says he wants all bars and restaurants to comply with the governor's order. Minnesota state health officials are defending their decision to restrict indoor dining, but many are questioning why, since big box stores and malls are still open. The Minnesota Department of Health says it takes about 15 minutes to inhale enough virus to be infected, and that's not typically happening while moving around a store.
Whenever I talk or laugh, I expel more forcefully air, which means that that virus is going to travel longer than and farther than if I was just breathing normal.
Now, eating outdoors in Minnesota is allowed at half capacity. Yesterday, Brutus Brickhouse in Moorhead posted this picture along with a personal invitation for the governor, attorney general, and health commission to enjoy a meal on the house. They say that the food is only guaranteed hot for 45 seconds, or you can drive 5 blocks across the river and eat inside there. We want to issue a big thank you to everyone who has joined us in helping the Great Plains Food Bank. So far, our virtual food drive raised more than $17,000, and we are still collecting until New Year's Eve. If you're willing to help, there are a number of items that you can buy and donate right from your phone. Just download that free VNL News app, look for the virtual food drive, and click on that donate button. Jamestown Regional Medical Center will vaccinate its first employees starting today. 200 doses of the Moderna vaccine arrived at the hospital yesterday. Critical access hospitals like theirs received the vaccine this week. Larger referral hospitals like Sanford Health in Fargo received their first doses last week. The UK is once again locked down tight. Several countries have banned all trade and travel from Britain until more is known and controlled about a mutated coronavirus strain that is sweeping through London and several English regions. Up to 40 countries are now banning arrival from the United Kingdom. This morning, the CEO of BioNTech said it's unclear if the vaccine would be effective against the new strain, but added that the vaccine could be tweaked. We now want to get the answer to our question of the morning on Facebook. That question today, about 35% of people say they currently have one of these in their homes. What is it? Well, the answer is an elf on the shelf, of course. Christmas time is coming up. Got to have a little fun out there. The Today Show and CBS This Morning, they're just about to start, but the Valley today, it rolls on. We'll have more about this blizzard warning that's in effect. Also a reminder, no travel advised for northwestern Minnesota. That includes highways near Crookston and Ada. Some of those going all the way to the North Dakota border. There you see a live look at that map. In North Dakota, a travel alert also issued, meaning that dangerous spots can pop up. That's the areas shaded in that light purple right there. So be careful out there, everyone, and we'll have more weather updates for you coming up right now on the Fargo CW.